Alright guys, another day's rolled around, so I have cut a hole in the floor. Woo! Little patch there. This floor isn't that crash hot. You can see there's a few holes everywhere. Bit of a leak in the master cylinder up here. Tapped on that. Not too bad, it's only taken the paint off. You can see up in there, that's where the master cylinder is leaking. It's leaking out of one of those bolt holes. I'm not sure if they're drain holes or if they hold it on, etc, etc, but we'll soon find out. Whoops. Soon find out when we fix that bit. But in the meantime, that bit of the floor is not too bad. It's just rusted on the outside. Tiny little hole here. I've got these couple here that I inspected, and they're okay. They're just a little bit on the top. So I've gone and we've pulled that piece right out. A little bit of rust in this corner, but I'm going to treat this big hole here first, and then I'll make a corner up for this piece here. There's a little bit of rust you can see there through the seam, so that will be my next bit. So I'll cut the rest of this rust off here. I've made a patch. Where did I put my patch? The patch goes about there. Okay, nice on this end, and a little bit short on that end, so I'm going to just pull it forward just a fraction to cover the hole and just push that down. So I've got a bit of metal to play with on this end, and then we'll get rid of that nasty bit of rust just where my fingers is along there, and that actually goes into it, so that's fine. And that will sit there, and then we'll do the rest of this stuff over here on the floor. You can see that lovely little bar there. Well, that's part of the steering. Okay, so don't want to cut that there, just over here. When I push there, there's a couple of rubber, more rust coming out. A couple of rubber hoses there. They go up to the radiator. So we don't want to be welding straight on top of that and put holes in our lovely radiator. Radiator hoses, of course they are. So we'll fix up that bit later on, but first we'll tackle over here, get this patch in, fix this section up, and then we'll go over to that side. I'll pull all the tar up first before we do that, of course, because it's lovely when it catches on fire when you're welding. Yeah, so we'll weld that patch in and I'll come back in when I've welded it up. Thanks. Okay guys, bringing it back into our little patch that we've welded in. Did a few down here, it looks okay though, but the weld turned out really well this time. I took my time, couple of little splatters here and there, but we got it in. Now we've just got to fix up this bit of a hole that's here, make another patch up into there, so a nice triangular bit. That'll come back over there and then sort of flop down into there somehow. Don't know yet, but we'll design it, and of course it'll have to come way over to this bit here where it's oops, sorry, take you out of frame there. A little bit rusty on there, but yeah, all in all the patch turned out pretty good. Right through, a bit of penetration, a couple of little tiny marks, but they haven't been welded, they haven't gone all the way through. So yeah, another successful patch done on Masie, and we'll continue on with that little corner and get another bit out the way. Okay guys, another day, another patch to be done. These are the water pipes that, the rubber water pipes that go up to the radiator. So I've actually put a little bit of a wood stopper just in there, just to stop it going up against the floor when we do a bit of welding. It'll burn the wood before it burns through the pipe. But we've got another hole in the floor to patch up. Nice square one this time, a couple of little ridges down there, a little bit of a bump there, but we'll pop that in as we go. Now this bit here, I'm just going to leave that, not weld from there to there. I'm going to cut that out later on and do that patch in there as well. Makes it easier if I just leave it for the minute and do one bit at a time. I'm a bit angry with the angry grinder just up in there, so we'll tack that back through again, get rid of the paint on that side. It goes right up to the seam here, where that piece of metal goes and plops over that one. So we'll do our best in that corner. We'll get the wire wheel to that as well, get rid of a bit more paint. So an easy patch. We'll get the patch made, we'll plop it in, let you have a look, and then we'll weld it in. Well, I guess one thing I am pleased about is we haven't used all our barbecue plate up yet, still a heap to go. So we haven't actually put that much metal back into this car. There wasn't that much to cut out, just in the floors. Obviously, that's where most of the water sits, on the floors when it's been sitting in a shed too. Was covered up, but the rain used to beat onto this side. It used to go down the window, down through the windscreen, and of course sit on under the rubbers on the floors. They were there. I've since cut them out. They're hiding over there next to another little project that I'm doing, next to a V-dub engine. So we're not going to put rubber mats back in it. We're going to put carpet back in this one, make it a little bit more quiet. So yeah, around the windscreen is where they normally leak, apparently. I've been talking to a gentleman and he's had a lot of these, and that's where they seem to fail. People put new windscreens in, and the rubber is meant to seal them in. However, when they sit, moisture gets under that rubber, and they get drips down into under the carpet, under the matting, can't get out because it's in a shed and doesn't dry out, and that's where you get your holes in the floor. Okay guys, so bringing you back in, made the patch up, stretched the piece of metal there so it'd actually go down to that bit there, nice and easy, up into the corner. I forgot the floor actually had a little bit of a flat piece along here, so we had to put a little cut in there so it would lift that bottom bit up a bit. But yeah, so that's the patch ready to weld in. I'll do a couple of tacks and tack it in, probably get rid of that leaf, it might catch fire. Well, probably will. Get my extinguisher ready, etc. A bit of safety. Pardon the sniffles, a bit cold out here today. And we'll get that patch rock and rolling in there, and I'll bring you back after we've welded it into the floor. See you later. And it's not pretty, but it's in for the minute, all tacked in. As you can see, we've got that other bit of stuff there to do. Yeah, so not too bad, but I'll really make an effort on this one to get it seam welded all the way through, because it is on the floor. We don't want any water coming up through, so we'll seam it all the way, or we'll weld it all the way around like we should anyway. I've got no I don't know what they're called when you drill the hole through welds, or whatever they're called in this guy. Just tacked onto the floor for the minute, and we'll weld it in a minute, and I'll bring you back after that. Alright guys, we'll bring you back in. There's the patch in the floor, all done. So yeah, as good as I can anyway with my welder. It's a bit of a pain at the moment, it's sort of all over the place. I really need a new one that can go a little bit slower. This puts too much heat into this metal. It's only got high and low on it. I've said that a couple of times. So this Saturday, it's very exciting, I'm going to buy a new welder. And hopefully it might be able to control the heat a little better to get things done more. But yeah, so that's what it looks like at the moment. We'll get that other little rust patch there fixed up shortly, and we'll go from there. Okay guys. Okay guys, so we're magically going to cut that piece out of the floor. How do they do it? They go like that, and then it's done. No, it didn't happen. Let's try again. They go like that. Okay guys, going to remove this bit of rust out of the floor here. I'm not sure how they do it. They put their hand up, they click their fingers, and magically it's cut out. Just kidding guys. Okay, so another hole in the floor, rust is gone. Let's put the patch in. Oh, there's the patch. Okay, so we're going to weld that patch in there. Nice fit. Piece of board still under there holding the hoses down. Hopefully they don't get burnt again. Well, they didn't the first time. There's always a first time or a second time. We'll get that tacked in and weld it up, and then we'll continue on that. The hole there, that was a pain. Really was. There's a hole right there, so I'm going to have to weld that in, weld around the sides, and just keep on weld around the sides, keep filling it in as we go, and then grind it down again. Looked underneath, there's no real big holes here and there, so seam filler underneath, and a skim over the top around here, and we should get it. So we'll bring you back after we've done this this patch. I'm just going to weld it in, guys, and I'll bring you back after that. Okay, guys, so there she blows. Nice little patch in the floor. Now I'll tidy that all up, skim it, and around the edges, of course, a little bit more because it's bulged over the top because it is a lap weld. I want it to be a bit stronger. Tidy it up a bit, make it look respectable, bit of undercoat like I have everywhere else, and we'll get to putting the top coat on later on when I get some more paint. But for the minute, I'll just undercoat it. It's inside the car, so it's not going to get rusty. We'll go underneath and we'll sand a bit of the crap off underneath and put a primer on there and stone chip material as well, so it seals it up too. And for that we'll put our filler in, our seam filler in underneath to stop any grime and so forth getting in between and rusting it out again. Alright, so there's another bit done. Alright guys, just bringing you back in. It's been a few months since the floor actually got done. Didn't turn out too bad. Very happy with it. That's what it looks like, right through from the edge. Oh, there's my finger. Right through from the edge to where we said we got that corner done. Then I found that other bit right in that corner there. And then we fixed up that great big patch over there. So that was that big patch that you couldn't, well, it was over there with the rust in it that sort of tapered off down to that corner there. Bit of a problem. This has been a couple of months since, well, a few months, probably 6 months now, since I actually did the floor. And we've had a bit of rain up in Queensland, and it sat in that floor area. I did drill a little tiny hole right there for drainage, but the water got underneath the paint there that I just noticed because this thing's been in storage for a minute or two. So we'll have to fix that up, put a bigger bow in it and get it fixed up. As we said before, with the windscreen, it hasn't been fixed yet, and that's where it's leaking from. It's coming down through there, and you can see the little bits of the rust there coming down out of that floor area where it's leaking out of the windscreen. But all in all, let's have a look. We've got a floor again in Masie in the front. Passenger side, driver's side, this one. Sorry, yeah, passenger side where the pedals are. Good on you, Michael. Alright, so that's pretty cool. Happy with that? No, I am. I hope you guys are. As we said, backyard hamster. Not going to be perfect, but it's going to do the job. Alright, so that's another bit done. We'll bring you back in when we're doing another piece. Alright guys, so finally all the front floor is finished now. I've just got a little bit to do in the back here. A little bit of rust there, all the way along, as we know, because this car sat leaning this way. So that meant that all the water in this car when it was sitting pooled up against this edge, and we got a few more rust holes to deal with in the back.